Hey you guys, what's up? Atrocitos54 here, and welcome to the 9th episode of Criterion Roulette. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I wanted to get all of the, like the Blu-rays and like DVDs that I still needed to watch. I wanted to get those watched first, and then I was gonna do a new episode, and I finally finished all of them, so I am back doing another video. Now, I'm not going to start it off with the one that I chose this time. I'm actually going to be starting it off with the one my friend Christian chose, because the one that Christian chose and the Random Spine number one, those came earlier today, but the one I chose isn't going to be coming till like Saturday. Now, if you guys have never seen an episode of Criterion Roulette before, basically this is a series I do where I pick 3 films from the Criterion collection, one that I choose, one that a friend of mine chooses, and then I put like all the spine numbers into a random number generator, and then I draw a random one, and then I take that one. So I'm going to be starting off, as I said, with the one that my friend Christian chose for me, which is The Celebration, released in 1998, directed by Thomas Vinterberg. This is one film from the Dogma 95 Film Collective. Now, this isn't actually the first film from the Dogma 95 Film Collective that I've seen, because a few weeks ago I actually watched Lars von Trier's The Idiots for the first time, and I thought that was a pretty good movie. It was very, very interesting. You know, I've seen a few Lars von Trier films before that, but definitely a very interesting movie. And the ending for it like really hits hard. Like there's parts of The Idiots that are kind of slow and a bit repetitive, and you're not sure like, you know, what it's doing, but by the end, like, it really definitely hits hard. Like, it's one of those ones where it's another one of those films where it's like you initially think it's okay, and then it gets better because the ending hits you so much. But yeah, I guess this is number 1 in the Dogma 95 Film Collective. I think The Idiots was number 2, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, so I don't know too much about this film. If I'm not mistaken, I think Thomas Vinterberg directed this film called The Hunt in 2012, which I've heard is a really, really good movie, but I'm not entirely sure. I think he directed it, but I can't quite remember. So I don't know too much about this. I really hope it's good. I'm excited to check it out. So now I'm going to throw you over to Christian, who is going to give a brief explanation as to why he decided to choose this for the episode.
Christian here, just coming over from North Vancouver with my recommendation of The Celebration, directed by Thomas Vinterberg and as part of the Dogma 95 series, which is where filmmakers would purposely limit both their technical and story capabilities just so they could focus solely on the creative aspects. And especially with The Celebration, since by limited their technical capabilities, the strict rules that like it had to be filmed handheld and there's no artificial lighting whatsoever. And there's like an absurd rule where like if you do really need artificial lighting, you have to like strap like a lamp to like the camera, like something like crazy like that. And I feel especially with this film that like it just made the visual presentation just like a lot more fit in, especially with the narrative, just like how more like morbid, chaotic, and like tragic it becomes. It's definitely, I feel, one of the best films that depict human relationships and just a lot of the very ugly, unfortunate truths about human beings in general, and especially within like a social circle and like a hierarchy. In this case, we see it through a family. And the film is presented with such grainy and like heavy like contrast film that like it perfectly fits. Like I love how like unapologetically improper it is, and there's a lot of segments that like are still like very vivid in my head. And honestly, I love films where like the technical aspects are like really rough around the edges and the film's unapologetic about that. Since I usually find that style to always be a lot more gripping for me and a lot more engaging. And that's one of the many reasons why I love this movie so much. And I want to say more, but to be honest, as a film, you kind of just want to like jump into it. Because like where the film goes is it's just absolutely insane. It really is. But Hopefully you enjoy this, Liam. It's definitely not Night Porter. And yeah, no, thank you for letting me on.
All right, thank you for that explanation, Christian. So this is what the front of it looks, and the spine as well as the back, and it looks like it took something out of the Kanye West playbook for the the design of this. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, of course, the Yeezus cover. But yeah, so it's like I kind of like this because it's like it's like right and clear, and you can see like the Dogma 95. I think it's like a an explanation as to what Dogma 95 is, but you open it up and it's like an explanation of what it is because this is an actual booklet with like a bunch of with an essay in here, but then there's also something on the other side. It says the Vow of Chastity. I guess this is like I think this is the rules that you had for the Dogma 95 Film Collective because I'm pretty sure that there was a bunch of rules that you had to like follow in order for it to be considered. Like I think it had to like all be shot on location. You had to use only natural lighting, and I think that like rules of like mistakes, like I think continuity errors and even boom mics being in the shots, I don't think it really mattered if they were in there or not because of like the rules they set out or whatever. I don't know. Because I know in the Idiots, I think there's like 7 times where the boom mic appears in the shot, but this is a 2-disc Criterion. There's the Blu-ray right there, and then there's the special features right there. There's nothing on the other side. But yeah, I really like the cover, like just how like it's like all clear. As I said, it's basically a lot like the Kanye West Yeezus cover, which I think is pretty cool. And I also like how it says Dogma and One because it was the first one from the film collective, and then the title, the runtime, and the year. I really like the look of that. But yeah, so we're gonna pop this in, watch it, and hopefully it ends up being pretty good. All right, you guys, so I just finished watching The Celebration, and I gotta say, this was a pretty good movie. I thought that the script was written incredibly well. It was always engaging, always knew how to keep you interested. It was directed very well. The acting was pretty good from everyone. I'd say that I think this is a better film than The Idiots, but I enjoyed watching The Idiots more. I'd probably go back to The Idiots more, especially because this movie's a lot more dramatic than The Idiots is, because The Idiots could almost be considered like a little bit of just a weird comedy at times with some drama in it. But I thought this was a really good movie. I did think that that maybe some of the parts weren't as climactic as I would like them to be. But if you stick around until the end, because this is a slow burn, if you stick around to the very end, I'd say it's pretty rewarding. There's a lot of really great scenes that you keep wondering what's going to happen next. Like the direction, it just keeps getting better and worse as the movie goes on. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. I'm definitely looking forward to checking out more of the Dogma 95 collective. I don't know how many films are in the collective. I think I might have like read something about this before, and it was like there might be like 90 or so in the collective, maybe even more. I don't know. I'll have to dig a little deeper into it, but yeah, definitely thought this was a pretty good movie. I would give this a 3.5 out of 5. Thank you very much, Christian, for the recommendation. There's a lot of special features on here. There's 2 early short films by Thomas Vinterberg. There's Last Round and The Boy Who Walked Backwards, which he talked about quite a bit in the interview that's on the first disc of this Criterion. But yeah, so that was The Celebration. I will see you guys probably tomorrow when I watch the next film in the Criterion Roulette, which will most likely be the Random Spine #1, unless the one I chose gets here early. But yeah, see you then. All right, guys, so it is now a few days later. The last Criterion actually did come in today, but I am not going to be watching that one. I'm going to continue with the original plan, and I'm going to watch the Random Spine #1. And that film is Old Joy, released in 2006, directed by Kelly Reichardt. Um, I'd never heard of this one before. It's a very, very short movie, only an hour and 13 minutes. Um, don't know too much about it. It sounds like a film that's really, really interesting. It says it's about these two friends who reunite for a camping trip, and I guess like like they keep on trying to like reconnect, but then but then it seems like that it's not like really going too well, and they realize like how differently they've changed since their youth or something. Seems like it'll be a good movie. I also, when I looked up this movie's IMDb page, I found out that Kelly Reichardt financed this film by working on a season of America's Next Top Model, interestingly enough. Um, but yeah, so as I said, don't know too much about this one. Hopefully it'll be pretty good, so we're gonna take a look inside this one, and then we're gonna pop it in and see how it is. All right, so here is the front and the spine and the back. And then when you open it up, that's the disc. I like the colors on the disc, like the yellow with the white. And then here's the booklet it comes with, and this is a very, very thick booklet. But the reason why the booklet is so thick is because it actually comes with the original short story that the film is actually based on. So that'll be interesting to read. And then the it's kind of the inside. That this is very interesting, actually. The inside, like artwork on this cover reminds me very, very much of Pusha T's "It's Almost Dry" album cover. Like, look at the color and see, like, look at that. It looks like so similar to that album cover. It's kind of funny. Um, but yeah, so now let's pop this in. Hopefully, it's good. All right, you guys. So I just finished watching Old Joy, and this was a good film. It was a good film and an interesting film, but it was a flawed film for sure. My main issue with it is even though the movie's only an hour and 13 minutes, there's a lot of padding in this movie. Like there's like so many like scenes and shots that are dedicated to literally just nothing at all. Like just showing like every little like thing the characters are doing or where they're going. Um, you really get the sense, because as I said earlier in the video, this is based on a short story. You can really feel it with this, that this really should have probably been a short film. I don't know. As I said, the short story is included in the booklet inside this Criterion, so I don't know how long the short story is, but yeah, you really feel as if this should have rather been a short film. Like if you've seen the episode of Family Guy where there's that joke of the kids in the trench coats like running Six Flags, that's basically this movie with like a short film with other short films supporting that first short film on its shoulders, and the trench coat is this movie. That's basically the best way I can describe it. But even though it does have that flaw, it was still a good movie, and even like the shots that were kind of dedicated to nothing. See that my main flaw with it was that it was excessive, that they had it happen a bit too much, but a lot of those shots were very, very beautiful, and like they were very tranquil and almost had like a dreamlike quality to them. They were very beautiful to look at. Even though the cinematography is a bit unconventional, that it might turn some people off, and even in some points it did, but then in the end I think for the most part the cinematography won me over. The story was good. The story is something I feel like we've all been through at one point, because it's about two friends who meet up who reunite to go on a camping trip because they haven't seen each other in a long time. And I feel like this is something we've all been through, where we've drifted apart from friends and then maybe we reunite with them, and and then that's like literally the end of it. You don't see each other again after that. There's actually a film in the Criterion collection specifically. I'm not gonna say which one because it's an ending that is like very it's an ending that is very, very impactful. One that still impacts me to this day, and it's been almost 2 years since I've seen it. I'm not going to say which film it is, but it is it's a pretty well-known film in the film lover community, but I just keep thinking back to that film and like how impactful that ending was, and it kind of reminds me of some of the themes in this movie. The thing is, ordinarily, this is something I really would have hated because, as I said, there's a lot of shots dedicated to just nothing. But as I said, it keeps it interesting by having it feel like a big vibe. In some scenes, you really feel like you're there with the characters, like specifically the scene in the campfire where you're like you feel like you're there in the campfire with the characters, like just talking about, whatever. And the performances were pretty good. The one who played, yeah, Kurt, and Will Oldham was his name. He was really good specifically. He was kind of the friend that like wants things to be back the way they were. Who like has really fond memories of the past and wishes that it could still be like that. He was really really good as that character, I think. Yeah, overall I'd say that even though it has its flaws, Old Joy was a surprise of a movie. It definitely, as I said, this is something I feel like I normally would have hated, but it keeps it interesting and it's definitely worth a watch. And the way it'll leave you feeling after you watch it is pretty like scaringly similar to how hold on, what's his name? How probably similar to how Mark feels at the end of the movie. I noticed it happening in myself, so definitely worth a watch, definitely worth your time. It may put you off, you may not like it, but I think it's at least worth checking out. I would give this a 3 out of 5. I want to give it a 3.5 because I enjoyed aspects of this a lot more than I thought I was going to. But the problem is, I just think that, with the flaws that it has, it just prevents me from giving it a 3.5, but it does get a 3 out of 5 from me. I did enjoy the movie, and so yeah, hopefully I'll record the one for the last film tomorrow. I'm excited to watch that one. It's one that I have not seen yet that I don't know how I haven't, but I'm very excited to check it out. So yeah, hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, so it is now time for the third and final film for this episode of Criterion Roulette. And that is one that I chose for myself, and that film is The Squid and the Whale, released in 2005, directed by Noah Baumbach. I've seen two of Noah Baumbach's earlier films. I've seen The Meyerowitz Stories and Marriage Story, and Marriage Story I thought was okay. It just didn't hit me the same way it did for other people, but Adam Driver's performance in it was really, really good for sure, and like the big climax scene was really well directed, really well done. But the Meyerowitz Stories, though, I thought was great. That is a really, really good, really funny movie that if you guys have not seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's a Netflix original, so it'll always be on there. It's very, very funny. Adam Sandler is really good in it. Same with Ben Stiller. It's just an all-around very funny movie, and it's very interesting because it's like, it's got some dramatic parts to it too, but and there's like one moment in particular where it's like, it's like it kind of gets dramatic at points, and then it's never like too like overbearingly dramatic, and then it just immediately snaps back to the funny stuff. There's one moment in particular that I'm thinking of that makes me laugh when I think about it because it's just so funny. But yeah, those are the only two Noah Baumbach films I've seen. I'm very excited to check this out. I don't believe this was his first. I think his first was Kicking and Screaming, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Yeah, because it doesn't say that this is his debut on the back. I'm pretty sure Kicking and Screaming was before this, but I'm very excited to check this out. I really want to see more Noah Baumbach. I think this was also like Jesse Eisenberg's, maybe not his first role, but it was like his like breakout role, maybe like the one that really like got him recognized. But yeah, I'm very excited to check this out, so we'll take a look inside and then pop it in and see how it is. All right, so here's the front and the spine and the back. And then on the inside is the disc right there. And then here's the book. It's a very plain one, just like the title, and it's just like a dark blue. It's a very, very thick one, though, because it has an essay as well as an interview with Noah Baumbach in the inside the book there. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to check this out. Let's pop it in and see how it is. Alright guys, so I'm sorry if like the light keeps flickering. I was just filming this. I started this recording this clip like 20 seconds ago, but yeah, the light was like doing some weird things, so if it flickers and looks really weird, I'm sorry. When I was looking at it in the phone, it didn't look like it changed it that much, but just letting you know in advance if it does that, I'm sorry. But I just finished watching The Squid and the Whale, and I loved this movie. This was a very, very good film. It's definitely something that I felt like Noah Baumbach would make. I don't think it went how I anticipated it was going to go, because I actually think I went into this expecting more of a comedy, but it's not a comedy at heart. It is a drama. But even though it's a drama, it's oftentimes a funny drama. It's not like a full on, like, it's not one that I can comfortably say is a comedy drama, but it does have some pretty funny parts in it. Most of them involving the younger brother, like just the weird random shit he does and says is so damn funny. There's one part in this. Oh my god, it's one of the most bizarre things that, like, it's one of those things that's like, I'm beyond shocked that Noah Baumbach, of all people, wrote it in this movie, but I'm even more shocked that they allowed it in there. And this movie's rated R, it's not rated NC-17. I'm shocked that they even allowed this scene in there. It's something so gross. I'm not gonna say what it is, but my god, I was starting to question reality after I watched that part. It was very, very funny though, but yeah, really great film. Like, the screenplay was one of my favorite things about it. It was extremely well written, so engaging. Like, it always had something interesting going on. The direction was great. Jesse Eisenberg and Jeff Daniels were great in this movie. Definitely a career best from Jesse Eisenberg in here, I think. As I said, this was like one of his first movies, if not his first, and I said earlier that I knew this wasn't Noah Baumbach's first. It says on the back here, I didn't realize this till after, it is Noah Baumbach's third film. So as I said, I'm pretty sure Kicking and Screaming was before this, but I don't know what the other one would have been. But yeah, this is a very, very good movie. I would very highly recommend this. If you've never seen a Noah Baumbach film, I would definitely recommend this. I would almost say that the Meyerowitz stories, based on what I've seen of Noah Baumbach so far, would be a really good place to start. But if you started with this, it wouldn't, like, hurt your perception of Noah Baumbach as a filmmaker. I think this would be a good place to start, I'd say, as well. Based on what I've seen so far. As I said, I haven't seen all of Noah Baumbach's films, but this is a movie you guys definitely should watch. It is a very, very good movie. Great direction, great screenplay, great performances. It's it's a very unique movie. I really, really liked it. It captures the, like, the pain of being kids and like going through like your parents' divorce from both the kids' view and the parents' view. It's a very, very like, honest and real film in that regard. It's handled very, very well, I thought. But yeah, great movie. Highly recommend it. Please go check this out. I would give this a very well-deserved 4 out of 5. Really, really liked this. But yeah, so that is going to be the end of this episode of Criterion Roulette. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely had some fun watching these films. Definitely a good batch of titles for this episode. I don't know when the next one's going to come out. I mean, hopefully in the next month or so. I don't anticipate it being in the next month, but you never know what might happen. I always have fun when I do these, but anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Subscribe for more content. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it. And remember, you guys, whenever getting divorced, say no to drugs.